I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we're talking to an amazing author. Her name is Patti Bonesteel, and she has written an inspiring children's book. It is called The Flamingo with Two Left Feet. It is a heartwarming story that follows Fernando, a flamingo who struggles with self-doubt and finds courage to pursue his dreams. Get ready for a journey of self-discovery and perseverance right now on Spotlight. And we're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight. We thank the team at Bookside Press for helping us put her in the spotlight today. We ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her wonderful book. The links are below this interview. Patti, great to see you here today on Spotlight.
Nice to be here.
I was happy to be the role model for your book, The Giant Pink Flamingo with Two Left Feet, because I think we all feel like that at times, you know? You feel a little
Absolutely.
awkward, you feel a little out of place, you're not great at something intuitively. Is that a little bit of your inspiration, just not being great at
Abs
things from time to time?
Absolutely. I mean, I think any one of us at one time or another, whether we're trying something new or going into a new situation where we may not know somebody and not knowing how to fit in, that's kind of what Fernando feels like.
Absolutely. And are you familiar with pink flamingos?
Actually, I did a lot of research on flamingos. I did a lot of research on different animals, and I decided to choose my first book for a flamingo. And the most interesting fact I found out was that they dance on the water to mate, to find a mate. And right away, my right side of my brain, my creative side went, what happens if a flamingo can't dance? And that's how the story began.
Wonderful. It's such a cute story. The illustrations are wonderful as well. Tell us about those.
The illustrations were done by an illustrator at Austin McCulley.
Hmm.
And I was involved in all the process. In fact, the first thing they did was the cover photo, and it was Fernando. They captured him beautifully, but they
Hmm.
had him kind of like in a swampy area. And I said, it needs to be a little bit lighter and more tropical for a kid's book more. And they perfected it. I mean, I was really very, very pleased.
Awesome. You described your vision. They were able to execute it and it came out perfect, which is terrific. Have you tested this book on children? Have you read it to any kids?
I have. We've been to, I'm saying we because my husband goes with me, been to several schools, Barnes and Noble, one library, and a few more book talks coming up. School's winding down here in New York in June, so school talks won't go till next September again. But, trying to find avenues to promote my book.
That's great. And the kids, I'd imagine they love it, you know, because it's
They
such a cute
really have,
character.
they really have taken, a shine to the book. And it's wonderful when you go into the schools and they've actually prepared for your book talk. And there's flamingos everywhere, and the kids are dressing in pink and that. So it's really very, very fun.
That's great. And part of what helps Fernando along in his journey is his mom. And I think
Yes.
that's an important part of your story too. Tell the folks at home about that a little bit.
Okay. Well, I think an important part of the story was the fact that parents should be encouraging to help their children grow, and also teachers with their students, because I think the more encouragement that a child gets, the better they are going to do with something, whether it's math or reading or self-confidence like Fernando. Um, Even when a child starts out in a sport, whether it's baseball or gymnastics or karate, they need the encouragement. And Fernando's mother does a wonderful job. She encourages her son by saying, it's not your feet, it's in your head. Stop thinking of what could go wrong and think of what could go right. And she's watching him practice and encouraging him. And even when Fernando gets falls down into the water and he goes to the shoreline, he's hanging his head, and the bullies are there to say, there's Fernando with two left feet, no flamingo will ever choose you. His mother comes around and said, you should be so proud of yourself. And he goes, why? You saw me fall. And she said, you're doing your best. Just keep practicing. Dance with your heart. Your feet will follow. So he takes the advice and he finally gets to dance on the water.
Wonderful, wonderful. We all need a mom like Fernando's.
Yes, we
I was
do.
lucky enough to have one. I mean, I
I
think,
was too.
yeah, if you're going to be a success in this world, if you're going to pursue your dreams, you need somebody who keeps on telling you you can do it, because your mom's voice becomes the voice in your head,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
without a doubt. Have you envisioned this story as a cartoon or an animated feature or something like that?
In my head always.
Right, right.
Because when you're writing, you get the character and you want to make the character believable, you want to make the character relatable. And so when you're developing character, you're getting you're putting pieces of a puzzle together. You get the character, you get his personality, and then you get the setting, and then you get like the plot and the climax. And so if there's a problem, you want to help that character solve that problem. So it's putting pieces of a puzzle together to make a story.
And as you're going along, you're visualizing all of it so you can, it's playing out in the big projector in your mind. And
Absolutely.
as it's projecting there, you can see it projecting on a big screen somewhere, or even a TV screen, which are pretty big nowadays also.
Oh,
And
for my husband, the TV screens are never big enough.
never big enough. 85 inches. No, we need bigger. We need bigger.
Exactly.
Exactly. I'm the same way. That's how I know. But that's wonderful. That's wonderful. I think this is such a great book because it'll also spark good conversations between parent and child about what their anxieties are, what their doubts are, what they're fearful of, what they're intimidated by. And, they might just turn, Mom, at school, they play whatever punch ball and I stink at it. And you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I think
And
that's really, really
that's what I'm
important.
hoping that parents will get out of it, or teachers when they read it to their students in school, because it can open up different conversations and help others.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned before, you said, for my first book, I chose of a flamingo. So it sounds like you have other books in the pike or already written or already produced. Tell us
I
about that.
do. I have two books already written and sent out. Um, the first one's about Amari. It says Amari's big surprise. It's not monkey bread. And so when kids think about monkey bread, they think of that pastry and that, but monkey bread is actually the fruit of the baobab tree in Africa. But Amari is, an African savanna elephant in their matriarchal society. So she's thinking that her big surprise is going to be something like monkey bread. And her mother tells her she's going to be a big sister. And she's not so sure that another member of the family is going to make her any happier. She's afraid she might lose some time with her mom. So her mom takes her on an adventure of when she was little to how she is now. And because it's a children's story, it's going to have a happy ending.
Wonderful, wonderful. The name of this book is?
Mari's big surprise. It's not monkey bread.
Very, very cool. And is it available now?
No, it's not available now. I just submitted it in that.
Okay.
So it's funny, like with a picture book, um, my first one, I submitted it in May of 2022 and it didn't get published till February 2nd of 2024, which was Groundhog's Day. And so it was like 2 years. And it's because it's a picture book. There's illustrations, there's formatting, and it's, not just a cover of a book and words.
Right.
So they said it does take a little bit longer. So I'm sure it's going to take a while, but they assure me it won't take as long as the first one. So,
Sure. Sure.
and then
And
the other,
Amari's going to be a picture book also?
yes,
Okay.
yes. And
And
then
you were
the
saying
other,
another one, you have another book in?
yeah.
Okay, tell us about that.
This one here it's called We Can and We Do.
Hmm.
And it's about a country raccoon that decides he's going to go to the city because he's heard that the city raccoons live longer, there's more food available, there's not as many predators. He gets to the city and he sees these big lights and the traffic, and he goes, there's no way a raccoon could live here. And then Moose comes out of the dumpster and he says, we can and we do. And he shows him the city, and Remy winds up moving to the city. And that,
Awesome.
and it's more of an environmental story because there are more raccoons now living in the city than there are the wild.
I was going to say raccoons in New York City are about this big.
Yeah, that's
They're ginormous because they're eating slices of pizza, reading the newspaper, catching the subway. You know, it's crazy.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what, Moose comes out and he says, name's Moochie, aka Moose, on account of my size.
That's funny. Very, very cool.
So
Well, you've got some great stories there. You're quickly becoming a prolific children's author. And I think the kids who read your books are going to be very, very happy about that. The book we've been focusing on today is called Flamingo with Two Left Feet. It is a heartwarming story that follows Fernando, a flamingo who struggles with self-doubt and finds courage to pursue his dreams. It's a great story, great pictures. More stories are coming down the pike from Patti Bonesteel as well, so look for them. Patti, thank you so much for joining us here on Spotlight.
thank you so much, Logan. It was a pleasure.
Pleasure's been all mine. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.